quick introduction of our panel that will be with us here for the next 35 minutes. We have Lei Yu. Lei Yu is CEO for Hong Kong and North Asia and also regional head of distribution for QBE, one of the leading insurers. She'll tell more about insurance, her company, about how her company works with Insurtech, and how the company is going to grow in GBA. Peter Tam, we have a lot of old friends here. Peter Tam is Deputy CEO of CoverGo. He was the former CEO of the Hong Kong Federation of Insurers and knows a lot about the history, development, and hopefully also can provide his view on the future of insurance in relation to GBA and Insurtech. Last but not least, we have Surep, also old friend. We share the stage very often. Surep is responsible for the insurance sector at AWS, also sponsor of this panel. Thanks for that. And he'll talk about more also about how AWS is working with Insurtech and traditional insurance alike in their journey into the GBA and growing internationally. And also share a bit around use cases, how clients are really working towards that journey. So let me start with Lei yourselves. Can you share? I think the audience is probably interested. I know that there are some of my friends from insurers and Insurtech attending us. Can you share a bit around QBE's perspective on Insurtech and how traditional insurers are leveraging Insurtech across your insurance value chain? And maybe another question, how you leverage that to grow the GBA in the GBA. I mean, that's a lot of different questions, but great to hear your view and hear more about QBE actually for some of us who don't know QBE that well.
Sure, Lapman. So first, maybe let me just introduce QBE a little bit. So we are obviously a global general insurance company, and we're headquartered in Australia and listed in the Australian Stock Exchange. So we are the top general insurance company in Australia and the UK markets. But in Asia, I think we're probably not the top. But actually in Asia, particularly in Hong Kong, we have been around for over 100 years. And we are one of the few insurance companies actually have the broadest products under one QBE brand. Meaning is where one entity in Hong Kong can provide from personal line insurance to SME, corporate, commercial insurance, as well as some of the specialty insurance like director and officer's liability, marine health, energy. So in Asia, we actually run an omni-channel model. We don't do much direct business. Probably that's why some of you have not heard our name. And 90% our business and the business premiums are coming from partners, insurance agents, brokers, and intermediaries, banks, and strategic partners. So as a traditional insurance company, and I think our vision is really to provide more innovative and consistent insurance solutions to our partners. And now, especially now, is to modernize our business with the technology and the digital technology particularly. So that's why when we look at the digital technologies, our first strategy is to put our intermediary partners first, and then to adopt the different digital technologies for our different target segments and customer segments. So broadly speaking, we have 3 segments, and then we use 2 types of approach when we look at the digital technology and how we leverage Insurtech or technology in general. So maybe just let me share with you those 3 different segments and how we use technology to do our business. So the first segment would be the individual consumer segment. And we see the future of the insurance business will be a digital enabled business model and close to 100% end-to-end automation, integration, and from customer acquisition, quotations, our underwriting processes and the payment, how we handle the claims, and also some of the post services as well. So we will be looking at Insurtech, and the technologies really help us to do that. And when we look at the SME segment, and we believe it will be also digitally enabled, but probably not 100% end-to-end, because after all, SMEs probably will still need some of our intermediaries and have some of the advice and sometimes as well. But then when we look at the corporate insurance space, and we see technology and the digital plays more assisting roles, and meaning we want to use digital technology to improve our business efficiencies. And maybe it's about obtaining and process information faster, and helping our underwriters and making decisions faster and more accurate, as with data analytics and with AI, and service our intermediaries and the customers faster with digital tools, such as smart contract, blockchain, or maybe managing our digital workflow as well. So traditionally, when we use, we engage technology companies, and it's more about buy and build our own model.
Yep.
So meaning for our core systems, and traditionally we just buy from established technology companies.
Right.
And for some of the technologies, we like to build our own because we think we are underwriters and we know some of our process. But recent years, actually, we are more looking at other two type of different models. And with all the FinTechs and Insurtech startups, we're looking at investment and the partnership models. So for example, like you said, we have a corporate venture capital arm called QBE Venture. So they invested in early stage startup companies, and potentially can reshape or even disrupt our insurance industry. So we are looking at how we can invest in them, maybe leverage on our QBE market strength and expertise. And the other, that's investment model. And the other partnership model will be really looking at how we can maybe use, to partner with those Insurtech and the tech or FinTech as part of the ecosystem. Okay, so we are looking at really how those partners can come in and bring more unique experience, and not only just for our customer acquisition, and also to enhance our partnership and the customer journey, and provide some of those kind of value chain activities, for example, maybe like a risk assessment, risk prevention, data recovery for our customers, or maybe provide our partners some data insights and digital marketing, or maybe even payment solutions for us as well. So this is how I see we're going to leverage the Insurtechs and all the startup companies to help us on the business.
No, thanks for sharing it. That was very elaborate and useful. I'll probably later on I'll ask you more also about QBE's plans for the GBA, but this is very good to know more about QBE as a company. I didn't know that you were around already for 100 years, but it's good to know you. So your focus, a lot of your premiums are coming from your partnerships, and I understand now more across that you also look at improvements across the value chain. So this is probably good for the Insurtechs out there that are tuning into today's session to understand that QBE is actively looking at it and is moving from a buy and build model more towards now also an invest and also partnership model. So thanks for sharing that, Lei. Maybe I'll move to Peter. Peter, yourself, as you've been around, it's probably an understatement in the insurance industry for a while, know many of the insurers, but now you changed seats, being a part of a leading Insurtech firm. And congrats, I think there was a big award that CoverGo won recently. Congrats on that. I want to ask, so the topic for today is leveraging Insurtech for Insurance Connect GBA. And while I know that there have been some progress a couple of years ago, can you share a little bit maybe for the audience that doesn't know that much about Insurance Connect, what it is and why is it such an important deal for traditional insurers and Insurtechs alike? Can you share a little bit 101 background, maybe also what you think the future will look like, or what is needed to unlock that potential? Because I do think that most of the participants here do agree that there is potential, but how do we unlock it and what is it? Be good to hear your view, Peter.
Oh, thank you so much, Lapman, for this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizer that we're able to gather together to talk about this important topic. Now, Insurtech and GBA. Why we are here? We're here really to make a difference to how people acquire and obtain the benefits of insurance protection. I think at the center of what we do is always how we can create a value. This is important. So what Lei just mentioned about all the things is music to our ears, because in even traditional or modern kind of insurers, they really onto what insurance clients, customers are looking for. They don't want to one size fits all the kind of products. They want to meet insurers at the convenient natural point of sale. They don't want to be even sold the kind of solutions. So that offers a lot of opportunities for Insurtech companies, including CoverGo, to offer that kind of support. We talk about co-creation, co-competition. I think now it's into that mindset. It's very important, even for the GBA area. When you talk about Insurconnect, it's really about that kind of driving that initiatives, and then that must be led by the government of different markets in that jurisdictions. Of course, we start something very modest about providing after-sales service and making sure that things are properly processed, and also in terms of even the regulatory compliance. But it's important that in that area that the people are looking for a number of areas like mobility, because when you talk about GBA, it's all about the flow of people, of information, of the kind of capital. So when people moving around, that also generate a kind of risk that insurance can sort of meet that the requirements. And of course, GBA is also another important element. It's about innovation, also technology. So even for that, there also provide another very unique opportunities when we talk about that one. When we talk about even SMEs, how they can sort of tap into that kind of opportunities, what kind of protection they want to get in order to really enjoy that opportunity. Now, for us, we understand that insurance is what I call understated industry value. And because some people always feel that, okay, insurance is kind of necessary evil, somebody even put it that way. And also when they go to the claims, that kind of moment of truth, they don't have the kind of what we call expected experience. So we are going to change it because of technology, not just with technology. We also need to work together with the process. So Insurtech is not just about technology. It's about how we change the things in order to put customers at the center of what we do. So what they're looking for, seamless integration is king. They don't want to really fill out a form and move on another side and talk to different people, and then when do the claims, they go through all sorts of hassles. So remember that this is important. What's driving all this change? That's a golden opportunity for insurers, Insurtech companies, all the solution providers to come together. We understand that traditional insurers try to move away from the monolithic IT system to a kind of platform which is modular in architecture, but also being agile and also configurable in how they operate. This is very important. Number two, they also learn that kind of connectivity with all the solution providers, connecting with even the brokers, the agents, AI providers, and also, for instance, in the space of health insurance, health providers, health services providers. So that kind of connectivity is so crucial to making this so powerful, also meaningful for our topic today. And so I'd like to stop here because I think that's the time.
No, sure. I
think have a lot to say. Thank you so much.
No, that's useful. No, I think that's very useful. I mean, Lei already mentioned before the importance of an omni-channel experience. You also talk about customers being front and center. I fully agree with that. I think if we combine it with the opportunity in GBAs, of course, we see the opportunity and how can insurance as a product help people de-risk and unlock the opportunity by being, let's say, more carefree without any issues, know that you're protected. So I think it's both an opportunity, but also obviously insurance as a facilitator for unlocking option outside insurance. So I think there is a big opportunity there. Thanks for sharing. So I'll come back to you on that, and also more on CoverGo and Insurtech, Peter, after. So from your perspective, you've been around in the sector as well for a long time. You work with different insurers and Insurtechs alike. I'm interested to understand, one, how do you work with these Insurtechs and insurers to help them drive their business or improve efficiencies? I think that's interesting. And also maybe specific use cases, how people, and you have seen benefits being unlocked through this partnership, because I think some keywords are customer experience, ecosystem partnership. Though the topic is technology, I think the partnership part is a big component here. Suret, over to you.
Totally, Lapman. First of all, I'd like to thank VFF Events for inviting me to be part of this such an esteemed panel. So Insurtechs enable innovation, as Lei and Peter already mentioned, right? So they enable this innovation throughout the insurance industry, and more than 80% of the companies and these Insurtech communities globally build their solutions on AWS. So Insurtech love to build their solution on AWS because we provide a secure, compliant, and resilient cloud through which they achieve the speed and scale. They get access to industry experts and the expansive offerings to support their FinTech and Insurtech community globally. More than anything else, Insurtech appreciates the fact that AWS is made for builders. With tons of tools available ranging from purpose-built databases to low-code, no-code, AI, ML solutions, builders can experiment with tons of services at little or no cost. How do we support, right? So we have one of our flagship program known as AWS Activate, which provides startup and Insurtechs with a host of benefits, including AWS credits, AWS support plan benefits, architectural guidance to help grow their business. Activate benefits are designed to give them the right mix of tools, resources, and expert support so that they can succeed with AWS while building a secure and compliant solution, optimizing performance, managing risk, and keeping costs under control. Now, based on a recent study, so two risks typically highlighted by the insurance industry analysts globally are lack of digital channels and products, and the need for innovative approaches to identify and price risk. Across the insurance value chain, right from sales to underwriting to customer service to claims to financial management, we observe three broad Insurtech categories that we help who are building their propositions on AWS. The first one is creative carriers who create more of a substantial involvement in the insurance space. They are full stack, meaning complete in terms of code to bind to process for policies throughout the value chain. Some carry risks on their books, while most are reinsured by or underwritten by the incumbents, right? So the second category is the data and analytics suppliers. They focus on data, emerging tech, and building analytics-driven software. These categories include artificial intelligence providers and data providers. The third one is customer experience enablers, right? These help improve the customer user experience. These solutions enable insurance underwriting as part of the sales process, as well as the aggregation portals to compare quotes. Also included are the low code and the no code players providing accelerated application development and agility. Yeah.
Got it. No, thanks for sharing that. I like that. Creative carriers, the data analytics suppliers, the customer experience enablers. I haven't heard about AWS Activate. It's good to hear it at this forum as well.
Maybe we also use AWS Service as a cloud-based API enable.
I think we're all connected here.
And also when you talk about when you talk about no code, low code, we also one of the pioneers, because when people hear about no code, they always think that it's a strict jacket, which is not the case now, because it's kind of commercial. CoverGo, we provide a kind of solution, but not providing you a strict jacket. We allowed you to configure the products. So this is important because we are saying that we don't want traditional products to be a kind of one-size-fits-all solutions. Now that with technology, we can really personalize the kind of solutions for our clients. and also provide what we call the natural point of sale. And when they talk about embedded insurance, is something coming to the market. And I understand that a lot of people are sort of have this kind of inspiration that they must work with affinity partners to widen the penetration, to really make insurance as a kind of something important to bridge the protection gaps and also help solve a lot of problems. And we even talk about climate change when you talk about parametric insurance, that kind of thing that is on a much larger scale. But back to the question about GBA, it's really important because for this area, we talk about close to 80 million people with a GWP close to over 11% of the national GDP of entire China. So this 9 municipalities plus the 2 SAR, Hong Kong and Macau, really is a powerhouse for Insurtech with the cloud providers and also insurance companies like QBE to work together, really to make a change, to make an impact. Because there's so many things that insurance can do to help even the governments to meet some of their policy objectives. Because nowadays people really are hungry for that kind of new thing, really thinking outside the box. So I better stop here, but there's a lot of potential for us to work together. It's very exciting. It's public-private partnership can be a very good testing ground in this area, driven by the government, providing the kind of framework, the Insurtech Connect things that Insur Connect, and also with the risk carriers, even reinsurers, providing the capacity, the technology, and people like us to really work together and to offer something exciting, cool for our customers.
And thanks for that. That's actually expiring 2 new questions that are bubbling up in my mind. One is maybe that's more for Lei or for others as well. So yeah, definitely, I think there is a lot of opportunity in GBA. I mean, people do talk about these headlines, many people, GDP. But at the same time, I look, for example, for insurance, that there is a relatively low insurance penetration rate. I don't know, it's hovering around like 5%. GBA and Hong Kong is probably, correct me if I'm wrong, it's probably more than 20. And maybe Lei, from a CEO perspective for North Asia, we could even put it broader than GBA. What do you think insurers or the ecosystem could do to increase that insurance penetration rate? Maybe specifically, what could an insurer do to help mature the market in GBA? Is there any strategic point of view or recommendation from GBE or yourself?
Sure. I think like many panelists already said, GBA presents a great opportunity for anyone and wants to do business, and it's a great market. I think from our perspective, we're looking at the GBA, and not only just from a pure sales perspective, we're also looking at the GBA as an area can potentially offer us more innovative products and the solutions and the service concepts to our existing customers as well, and using the digital technology which is coming out from GBA. I think one of the things I do wanted to share with all probably your audience has lots of Insurtech and startup companies at FinTech. And I think one of the greatest value as a startup company can bring to a traditional insurance company like us is innovation. It is product design, because traditionally we are looking at innovation is more from a product angle, and we don't necessarily look from a customer angle and from a customer journey and from whether it's an individual customer or it's a corporate. So when I looking at this and the GBA for GBA, the reason it's a great opportunity for us is we don't have a license in China, and we don't sell traditional insurance products. So we actually don't have any legacy issues. So we will be more looking at what are the new products and new services, new models, and the new digital solutions we can provide to that group of people in GBA. Because we can't just use our traditional insurance, traditional concept to think about that this is a product I want to sell to the customer. And we want to turn it around and to say, for that geography, that, probably 70 billion people, what do they need with the new economy in this new digital age? Then we want to work with the technology, with the startup companies, FinTech, Insurtech, to co-create something for those groups. So to us, that's the biggest opportunity we see.
Then I'd like to say that would be opportunity for health services, because the GBA is really, that's an important part of it. It's also the concerns of the general public, the government. We have the rising middle class. They're looking for something better, medical services. At the same time, aging population, and also people more concerned about not just when you're sick, you go to hospital. They're also concerned about wellness, right? Lifestyle. That's the thing that technology really can work with risk carriers to provide something extra than just protection. It's what we call that's even something that really helps to provide some improvement to some behavior. There's something that's also that people are looking for. So that's in their even lifestyle, they had also make insurance part of their important part of the daily life. That's also something that I hope that with that kind of mindsets, we really can not just talk about providing products, we're providing something really to understand what they're looking for, and then at the same time meet them at that online. Where we do meet our customers, we meet them online now. Of course, I also understand that even for, I'm not talking about we are trying to sort of do away with the intermediaries. They are very important, critically important is to say, even advice. But with that, we can also be online, help them to do their work even in a much more efficient way.
Got it. That sounds good. I mean, definitely, I think there are a lot of mega trends that we could look at. I mean, definitely before we can capture the opportunity, there are many things that need to happen from my view, from policymakers, from regulator. But at the same time, there are these mega trends that I'm seeing, as you said, aging, for protection, life, medical insurance, the wealth management part. Maybe I want to spend a little bit more time now with Saurabh, as in, can you share in practice, how do you work with these? Do you have any specific use cases in mind, how you work with them in, or, well, it's somewhat related to GBA?
Right. So, I mean, coming back to GBA, right? So let me just say how we support as in AWS. So in fact, we have made some strategic investments and we have a long-term commitment in China. Right? So we opened our first AWS China region. So regions, as we call as the cluster of data centers, which we call in our terminology, we call them regions, right? So we opened our AWS regions back in 2016 and 2017. Which is fully compliant with the China regulations. We then opened our Hong Kong region back in 2019. We also have an AI lab in Shanghai, and the very next, we opened that in 2018. And the very next year, we opened an IoT lab in Shenzhen. So these investments, to support GBA and the overall greater China region provides a very globally consistent customer experience. And customers can then innovate at an extremely fast pace as they would in other geographies using AWS. The developers can deploy cloud-based solutions in China using the same APIs, protocol service, same platform, operational practice used by our customers in other parts of the world. So this commonality has been particularly attractive to multinational companies that can take advantage of their existing AWS experience, the IPs that they have built, the technology that they are using when they expand into mainland China. So AWS have also worked with, in collaboration with the Hong Kong Productivity Council, as well as universities in both China and Hong Kong, to build those skill sets ranging from native cloud solutions to AI, ML, to IoT. We have held bootcamp sessions with universities preparing for hackathons and skill changes. So what we observed recently is there are a lot of universities initiatives as well as the government initiatives to upskill and reskill the future, the workforce of tomorrow, right? In all these upcoming technologies, AI, ML, data and analytics, machine learning, IoT. So that is on our long-term commitment and the investments that we are making to support this entire GBA community, right? So coming back to the use cases, I think our use cases range from sales and servicing to claims to policy admin. We have multiple Insurtech working in various segments to support these kind of use cases. I think, so all I can say is across the insurance value chain, we have like multiple use cases which are being supported by Insurtechs. And then we also see like the traditional insurance players are also collaborating with Insurtechs for those niche skills or for those niche solutions that those Insurtechs are building.
Got it. No, thanks for sharing it. So we're probably have another 5 minutes in, and I like what I'm hearing about, on the one hand, from the big tech cloud service provider, how you invest in GBA and helping out Insurtechs. Good to hear from Peter about this broader big picture view and what CoverGo is doing, and from Lei to hear also about that Insurtech can bring the innovation, the product design, and the customer experience journey support, helping out the traditional insurers. Maybe is there any call for action from any of you? I mean, everyone is, frankly, we have many of these panels before around GBA. Yes, there's a great opportunity, but it's always the question, when is that, and how can you prepare yourself to capture that opportunity as best as you can, irrespective whether you're a firm like AWS, big tech firm, cloud provider, whether you're an Insurtech or traditional insurer. I mean, the question is, of course, now we know there is a big size of the prize there. How do you capture that size of the prize? What would be your advice to what party or call for action to unlock that opportunity? Maybe I'll start with Lei.
Okay, I think if there's any advice I want to give to Insurtech would be don't think you just need to develop a business model to help to acquire customers, for big companies to do that, because we are looking at for GBA, really looking at so many different kind of services you can offer. So if it's a fintech company or if it's a startup company, if you can really offer something very unique to the customer journey, and I think that is something that will be very, very helpful for a traditional company like us. So I have a lot of startup company approach us and to say, oh, I can help you to increase your sales. And I think that that's great. But I also have companies, coming and they say, Lei, I can help you to probably help your customer to, or maybe help you to understand a risk better. And something like that, and it's also very, very interesting. And and that could be based on the GBA model, because we are looking, even for GBA, we're looking at lots of customers currently maybe in Hong Kong, and because GBA is opening, so they are going cross-border and they want to do something in China as well. So you shouldn't be just looking at targeting the China, the population in China, targeting the population in Hong Kong. We can also look at across the border. And to do something probably adding value to their experience for their day-to-day, whether it's related to insurance or maybe it's not related to insurance.
I agree very much. We talk about the cross-boundary collaboration. The call for action is, I would talk about even the role of the Insurance Authority and also the Hong Kong Federation of Insurers. I think that they are the kind of platform that can bring the people together. But back to the topic today, that's I represent CoverGo. We are voted as the Insurtech of the year by the Asia Insurance Review last year. So I'm talking about here is although we started in Hong Kong, we already have presence in many other markets in Asia, in North America, in the Middle East. The thing is that technology is borderless, which meaning that if we can also bring insights from other regions back to this part of the world in order to fertilize, also add more sort of new ideas to how we deliver insurance together with the cloud sort of infrastructure. That's very exciting, because we should always bear in mind that if more sort of interaction of ideas, that can really create something even more beautiful. When you talk about parametric insurance and bad insurance, that's the kind of thing that we can learn from other markets. We're doing work in other places like even Middle East, even in Thailand, in Canada. So this is something very exciting, that Hong Kong is really an international city. We should tell a better story about Hong Kong, and that we can really do something together by bringing like AWS, international company like GBA, and also Insurtech from all over the world coming here to show the world that insurance is a force for good, and using this kind of collaboration. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Saurabh, what about yourselves?
So
before I close?
Call for action. I'd like to echo what Peter earlier mentioned, right? So keep customer at the heart of every decision that you make, because GBA and all the policies that are getting created to support the community there are basically, GBA is the policies and the guidelines is basically to support the citizens and the population of China and Hong Kong and this part of the world, right? So if you're keep the customer, stay customer obsessed, focus on people and culture. Yes, technology. I represent a technology company, but we always emphasize on change in people and culture, right? So only then you can embrace innovative solutions quickly, rapidly, in order to help the end customer.
No, perfect. Thanks for that. I mean, I think we covered quite a lot in just a matter of 35 minutes. Yes, we haven't cracked the full code, as in get the opportunity right now. But at the same time, I think probably, Lei, you'll get a lot of additional calls from Insurtechs about what they need to do. And Insurtech have a better understanding of what they need to do to be successful, like when they are, well, starting to be like a CoverGo, like with Peter's group, or working together with AWS. As a final note, I do agree that I think for Hong Kong, we need to have a positive narrative. And I do think that the insurance sector, with its strengths in risk management, with its strength in product innovation, can play a bigger role in GBA or across the border. So with that, I want to thank the panelists, Lei, Peter, and Saurabh. Good to see you. It was a good discussion. Hope that for the audience out there that tuned in during lunchtime, that you felt it was somewhat useful. And do call Lei, Peter, Saurabh, or myself if you've got any questions. Again, thanks Asim, the organization, and Mushir for inviting us. I think I enjoyed it, and I look forward to the future ones.
Thanks, Lapman.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.